Okay, welcome back. This will be the first video on making something with AR Foundation, which is the plugin thing that we'll be using in order to do all of the AR stuff. This tutorial will be entirely focusing on Android. I will point out the times when things would differ. If you want to build for iOS, for an Apple phone, you'll most likely need to actually use a Mac computer from what I could find, although I have no way of confirming that since I neither have a Mac computer nor an Apple phone. Either way, the first bit that you want to do is the same. You want to create a new project. You're going to want to wait until these list of available templates is retrieved. Once they are retrieved, then you want to scroll down to where it says AR, which should be down here next to the VR one. And then you want to click on this download. It should come up with something like this, and you should click install. I'm selecting the VR one because I've already installed the AR one to test it out. So then, once you've done that, you'll want to name it, and once you've named it, then you'll want to just hit create. Now again, it'll take a little bit to create, so I'll be back when this is done. Okay, here it is. This is what it should look like when you open it up. You can go ahead and close these things. Once you've closed them, we can go ahead and get started on making our project. First thing you want to do is go up to File, go Build Settings, and select Android. Or, if you're making for iOS, you're going to want to select iOS. I don't have the iOS module loaded, so you'll need to install that, which I talked about when we were installing them. Then what you're going to want to do is hit Switch Platforms, and this will take a little bit, as it will be swapping everything over to the Android platform rather than the PC, Mac, and Linux standalone. Once that's finished, you can exit out of this window. We'll be going back to that window soon, but for now, that's all you need to do. The next thing we want to do is go to Edit, Project Settings, and then go down to XR Plugin Management. I've already selected it, but it's just down here at the bottom. Then you'll start here, but you want to just go over to Android, or I think it'll have the same sort of tabs at the top for iOS. Then you'll want to go to here and just select AR Core as your plugin provider. Then you can go ahead and close out of that. The AR template starts you with this sample scene, but what we're going to want to do is actually open up the blank AR scene. If you go into Assets, Scenes, and then double click this blank AR. It won't look like much has changed, but that's just because the things that have changed are just these components here. So as you can see, there are two game objects in here that we haven't seen before. We have our directional light, like how we had inside the normal Unity scene. And we also have the AR session origin, which effectively is just a game object that holds the origin of the world. This is just used by AR Foundation to determine where everything is in space, in virtual and physical space. You have this AR camera, which has a few extra things on it, but is mostly just a camera. These few extra things effectively allow you to just use it as an AR camera, placing things on top of the actual real world. The AR session is the other big thing, which is effectively the object that holds the map. As you scan, or as you move the camera around, AR Foundation is going to stick down little points all over the world saying, hey, this is a feature that might be useful, that I might be able to recognize from multiple angles. And it will try to do that. And once it's able to figure out where that is roughly inside the world, it's going to start mapping those points into this AR session game object. And then that is going to build up a map, a virtual map of your world, which will allow you to place things in AR. So the first thing we're going to want to do, just for this demo, is we want to visualize these sort of little dots and the mesh that it creates out of these dots. So we're going to go to the AR session origin, and we're going to add 2 components. We're going to first add the plane manager. You can see there's this AR plane manager. I'm going to add that. The next thing we're going to add is the AR point cloud manager. You can see that both of these look like they have a none here, which means they're probably expecting something to go in there. We can see that this says a plane prefab and a point cloud prefab. It actually has a little tooltip that comes up as well in order to tell you what those actually mean. Now, I told you how to use prefabs inside the supplementary video, but I haven't told you how to create them. So let's go ahead and do that. Something useful that AR Foundation has is that it already has a default version of the plane and the point cloud that we can just use for this. So we don't have to create one all on our own. You can right-click on the hierarchy to bring up this menu, scroll down to XR, and add in a default plane and a default point cloud. If you click on either of them, you'll see that they have a bunch of things in them. Line renderer, mesh renderer, all kinds of things. These are effectively just different pieces that make them able to display as you'll see them display. Same with the point cloud, has a bunch of different things. Looks like it uses a particle system in order to do the actual displaying of points. So to create a prefab, all that you need to do is click and drag from the hierarchy down into your assets. You can create a folder for this, but for this test thing, I'm just going to place it inside the normal thing. And there we go. We have a prefab. We're going to do the same thing for the default plane. And now we have the plane and point cloud prefab down here. You can go ahead and delete these original versions. And if we head back to our AR session origin, we want to add the point cloud into the point cloud manager, and we want to add the plane manager, or the default plane into the AR plane manager prefab. What we'll have to do now is go ahead and set up our phones into developer mode. I will show you how to do this on Android. If you need to do this on an iOS device, send a message to the Discord and we can help you out. So this here is my phone, just being mirrored up onto my computer so that you can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way down inside my settings to the About phone. Then I'm going to scroll to software information. And then on build number, I am going to tap on that 7 times. Now it's popping up that developer mode has already been enabled for me, but once you've tapped on that a bunch of times real quickly, it will pop up with developer mode being enabled. Now that you have developer mode enabled, you can plug your phone into your computer and it should connect. It may ask you for confirmation on your phone, so make sure to click yes, or whatever the equivalent is. Now what we're going to want to do is, of course, save. So go ahead and save this. Then we're going to go back to that build settings window. Now that you have your phone connected and in developer mode, it should show up here if you hit refresh. And there we go, for me it has. And then all you have to do is hit build and run. I'm going to go out of here and create a new folder, which I'm going to call build. So creating a build, building your program, your project, is taking everything that's in Unity and smashing it all together, making it smaller, making it able to run without needing the Unity editor, so that we can go ahead and install it onto our phones. So in this case, I'm going to call this AR test 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and save it. The first time you build will take a while, so be prepared for that. And I'll see you once this is done building. As you can see, it's trying to sort of map the world around it. You can see these little yellow dots showing up everywhere. That's it trying to recognize feature points. And you can see this sort of yellow plane expanse polygon, which is it trying to recognize surfaces. And as I put the camera close to the ground, or close to the steps, you can see that it recognizes that, it's basically very close to, at level to whatever surface it's meant to be on. You can see this definitely when I put it up to the top of the hot tub. It can also create vertical planes like the one on this bush. You can see it over there. Okay, so that's your first AR Unity project. In order to place things in the world, you will require a little bit of code, but nothing too difficult, and I will go over that in another video.